In lesson 4.5, we're going to learn how to do polynomial long division. But before we start with polynomials, let's do some long division with some real numbers, just to remind yourselves what the division algorithm looks like. So 2235 divided by 7. If we do long division, we set it up with a divisor and a dividend. The divisor is 7, the dividend is 2235. We ask ourselves, how many times does 7 go into 2? The first right there. We realize it does not go into 2, so we move over 1 and say, how many times does it go into 22? 7 goes into 22 3 times, so we write it right there on the quotient line. Be sure to keep things organized and lined up, right? The 7 goes into 22, so the 3 is carefully placed over the second 2. And then we multiply. 3 times 7 is 21, and we put that product right there. Next, we subtract. Okay, so 22 minus 21 is 1. Then we do it again. 7 goes into 1. No, it does not, so we have to bring down this 3. We ask, how many times does 7 go into 13? And the answer is 1. Then we multiply. 1 times 7. And then again subtract. 13 minus 7 is 6. And we cycle again. Does 7 go into 6? It does not. So we bring down the 5. 7 goes into 65 9 times. 9 times 7 is 63. We subtract, and we get a 2. So we say that the quotient, or 2235 divided by 7, is 319 with a remainder of 2. Or we say and 2 sevenths. That's the remainder. And this 319 and 2 sevenths, we imply right here, imply addition. We don't write an addition. So when you say and 2 sevenths, it's 3/19 and 2 sevenths means plus this little bit, this 2 sevenths. I say that because we're going to need that when we actually do it with polynomials, that implied addition. By those techniques, the divisor is x squared plus 6x plus 10. And it goes here. The dividend, x plus 2. And we ask ourselves, you only have to look at that first term. Okay, look right here. What do you multiply x by to get x squared? How many times does x go into x squared? And you would say, well, I have to multiply by x. Line it up, put it here, okay, in the linear column. X times x, now we go to multiplication part. X times x is x squared, and x times 2 is 2x, positive 2x. Put it right underneath. The next thing we did when we divided was subtract. I'm going to ask that you put a parentheses around that polynomial. When we're doing polynomials, you'll forget that it's a polynomial minus another polynomial. X squared minus x squared is 0, but 6x minus 2x is 4x. Bring down the 10. Then ask yourself, what do you multiply x by to get 4x? And you'd say, what's 4? 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And then we subtract. 4x minus 4x is 0. 10 minus 8 is 2. So the answer, the quotient is x plus 4 and remainder over divisor plus 2 x plus 2's. But the remainder over the divisor, just like we did over here with the numbers. Okay, we put the 2/7, the remainder over the divisor. We do the same with polynomials. And that implied addition is we actually make an addition. Plus and 2x plus 2s. And that's our solution. Or that's our quotient. Number 3, we'll do it again. Ask yourself, what do you multiply x by to get x cubed? Say x squared. Put it in the squared column. And then multiply. X squared times x is x to the third. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. And subtract. And we get negative 5x minus negative 2x would be plus 2x. Negative 5 plus 2x would be negative 3x squared. Bring down plus 4x. And do it again. What do you multiply x by to get negative 3x squared? And you would say negative 3x. Then multiply. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 2 is plus 6x. And subtract. 4x minus 6x is negative 10x. If you're going to make a mistake on this, it's going to be when you don't put parentheses around the subtraction, the polynomial. The subtraction stage is where most people make mistakes because they don't. This is 4x minus 6x for 10x. Bring back the negative 2. Bring it down. And then ask, what do you multiply x by to get negative 10x? You say minus 10. When I multiply, negative 10x plus 20. And I subtract. So that's negative 2 minus 20. The remainder is negative 22. So the quotient is x squared minus 3x minus 10 minus 22 x minus 2s. So we can say since the remainder was negative, we're subtracting 22. Example 4. X times 3x squared is 3x cubed. So do the multiplying. 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times negative 1 is negative 3x squared. Subtract now. X squared minus negative 3x squared would be 4x squared. Bring down the negative 4x. X, how many times does x go into 4x squared? Be a positive 4x. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. We subtract, we see our remainder is 0. This tells us something. Let's pause for a second. You know, if we were dividing real numbers and we got a remainder of 0, then we would say that the divisor is a factor of the dividend when there's no remainder. Yes, 24 divided by 8 is 3. 24 divided by 7 is 3 with a remainder. So 8 is a factor of 24, so is 3. But we can say in this case, x minus 1 is a factor of the divisor when the remainder is 0. That's an important thing to remember. Division, polynomial division. I've got it all set up for us. We first ask, what do I multiply 2a squared by to get 16a to the fourth? And I hope you would say a squared. No, excuse me, 8a squared. 8a squared. because 8a squared times 2a squared would be 16a to the fourth. And I got to multiply times all three of those terms. Minus 8a cubed minus 8a squared. And I subtract. Now I got a trinomial to subtract. 16a to the fourth minus 16a to the fourth is 0a to the fourth. The next subtraction, negative 2a cubed minus negative, that would be plus 8a cubed, would be positive 6a cubed. Negative 17a squared minus negative 8a squared would be like plus 8a squared. So that is minus 9a squared. Bring down the 4a. Again, what do you multiply 2a squared by to get 6a to the third? And you would say 3a plus 3a. 3a. Then multiply. 3a times 2a to the second would be 6a to the third. 3a times negative a would be negative 3a squared. 3a times negative 1 would be negative 3a. And now subtract. All right, the a cubes go away. Negative 9a squared plus 3 would be negative 6a squared. 4a minus negative 3 would be plus 7a. And bring the 5 down. Ask again, what do you multiply 2a squared by to get negative 6a squared? And you would say negative 3. Negative 3 times 2a squared would be negative 6a squared. That's what we get. Negative 3 times negative a would be positive 3a. Negative 3 times negative 1 would be positive 3. And we subtract. The a squareds are gone. 7a minus 3a is 4a. 5 minus 3 is 2. And 2a squared does not go into 4a, so that's the remainder. We write this as 8a squared plus 3a minus 3, that's the quotient, and the remainder, 4a plus 2 over the divisor. 2a squared minus a minus 1. That's it. That's what we report our answer. One more example, and this one has something a little bit different than the other ones, so we have to take care of it. When I go to write the dividend, I've got 3x to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 9x squared. But there's a term missing. There's no x to the first term missing. We jump. We got a fourth degree, third degree, second degree, and then the constant, degree 0. We skipped the first degree one. I want to make sure you account for it. Write that 0x right there for the missing term so that we don't make any mistakes in our subtraction. So that's the one thing that's a little different about this one. If there is a missing term, we don't have all of the decreasing degree of the variable. If something's missing, be sure to add that as 0 so we don't mess up our subtraction. And now the process is just the same. What do you multiply 3x squared by to get 3x to the fourth? And I would say x squared. I'll put it in the x squared column. X squared times 3x squared is 3x to the fourth. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. And subtract. 2x cubed minus another x cubed would be negative 3x cubed. Negative 9x squared minus negative 2x squared would be negative 7x squared. Bring down the 0x. Gonna need it. I'm gonna bring down the 4 as well. Gonna need it. What do you multiply 3x squared by to get negative 3x cubed? I hope you would say negative x. Multiply Negative x times 3x squared would be negative 3x cubed. Negative x times x would be negative x squared. Negative x times negative 2 would be positive 2x. And subtract. The x cubes are gone. Negative 7x squared plus an x squared would be negative 6x squared. 0x minus 2x would be negative 2x. And I'll bring down that 4. All right, one last cycle. What do you multiply 3x squared by to get negative 6x squared? And you would say negative 2. Negative 2 times 3x squared would be negative 6x squared. Negative 2 times x would be negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 2 would be plus 4. When I subtract, we get 0. Again, a remainder of 0 means that 3x squared plus x minus 2 is a factor of the dividend. It also says that the quotient, this is also a factor of that. Okay, we could say this dividend times this equals that. The quotient, x squared minus x minus 2. That was what I asked for, but I want to be on the toes for when the remainder is 0. We have just found factors. That's important. All right, so if you have any questions, you can email me, and I'll see you in class.